What's up, everybody? The Rican Brothers Raidernation podcast. I'm your host, Nazo, coming back to you with another episode. And my deepest apologies. I've been out with COVID. I'm recently just getting back. This is the first show back. And, man, it was rough. It just so happened to be the Chiefs week that it did happen. My apologies. There was no pregame show. There was no post-game show. Wasn't doing too good. Ran about 101-degree fever. And I'm coming to you, here tonight, Friday, just before game day with the Bengals on November 19th. And, Anthony can't be here. He has other things going on. His schedule's kind of been crazy, but I definitely do apologize. Just want to say welcome back, Raider Nation. My deepest apologies again. I was just going through the whole thing with COVID. But hey, we're back, man. We're back for another show. And I just want to go over the matchup here on Sunday, November 21st, with the Cincinnati Bengals in Las Vegas to see if we can bounce back, man, after that just terrible loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. I know I had so many feelings going on. I was lighting up Twitter, even at, my state I was in with, being under the weather with COVID. And it wasn't a good thing. Let's just say that. I probably worsened my condition just by how much I was just feeling it just from the sickness. But hey, I'm getting back healthy. I'm still not 100% yet. I'm about 85, 90%. So I'm just glad to be back with you all for another episode. And I just kind of want to go through some stuff here, and just talk about this upcoming matchup here with the Bengals and the Raiders. And it's good to be back for another episode on the Rican Brothers Raider Nation podcast, man. I definitely missed it. And, sometimes we just need to step aside and just take care of the health and just take care of that stuff because, health is number one. I'm no good to you guys if I'm not healthy. And, I just been doing all I can just to get back on track and still not working out yet, but definitely lost a little bit of weight. I can kind of tell just looking at my face, just here on camera. But hey, I'm back, baby. Your boy Nazo's back. So going over this matchup here between the Bengals and the Raiders, it looks like the over-under here for this matchup is going to be 50.5 points, with the Cincinnati Bengals favored by 1.5 points. And the bad thing about it is it is in Las Vegas, Nevada. So we do not have home field advantage, and we are the underdog in our own stadium. So after last week's ass whooping, I'm not really surprised. It is feeling a little 2019-ish this year with the way that things are kind of going down right now and just the play of this team. So let me just give you my predictions here as far as what we can expect from this upcoming game. Now, as far as the game, I am going to go ahead and go with the Las Vegas Raiders pulling out the W. I do think this is going to be a closer game than expected, with a 28-25 win, with the Raiders coming victorious out of this one. And I think the Bengals are going to give us a run for our money, and we're going to have to bring it. And with the way that this team has been playing, we need a bounce back win to keep playoff hopes alive. And on top of that, just with everything that's going on, to put hope back into Raider Nation and the fan base and the organization. Really, we have to win this game. Now, I mean, we got the whole second half of this season to go, and it's got to be something that the Raiders progressively get better each week. And we are going to come off this week and have a short week going to Dallas, but we just need to take it one game at a time. With the additions on offense of Deshaun Jackson, excuse me, with the addition of Deshaun Jackson, excuse me. Sorry, man, this COVID thing definitely making my throat tickle here. Give me just a moment. With the addition of Deshaun Jackson, I think we will see a lot better play with the offense coming in this week. Just because, he has another week of practice and he has more time with the offense. Sorry about that, guys. He's going to have another week with the offense and just get some more, rhythm and reps with Derek Carr. So I really do feel like implementing him in this game, it will pay off a lot as far as, specific plays that are designed for Deshaun Jackson in this one. And I'm really looking forward to Darren Waller getting heavily involved in this game, because if you've seen two things over the course of the last couple weeks, they've gotten away from Darren Waller more and they've been throwing more to the running backs. And I don't necessarily think that it's been a positive thing, just because running the ball and getting the ball to Darren Waller are going to be two keys that are really going to come to be important, especially in this game and games moving forward. Just because the way that this offense moves, we need to run the football. And I think our offensive line has actually been playing great. I think they've been playing a lot better as each game progresses. In our last game, we did fall flat. There were some things that we should have continued doing that we did not continue to give attention to, that really did make it in for a long game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And we pretty much made them look like a top 5 defense, even though we all know that that's not the case. They're still a bottom 5 defense, and there's really nothing that you could do to convince me. Hats off to them for whooping our ass and making us look silly, because that's pretty much what they did. This is a grown man sport. You need to sack the fuck up. You need to keep things moving. If you want to win in this league, it's how you respond. It's not about crying over a loss. It's not about, pointing fingers. So the encouraging thing about this is, on offense, at least, minus Alec Ingold no longer being with us for the season, which is a huge loss, especially on special teams. And then our fullback, it looks like, we did pick up, I believe his name is Sutton Smith, from the practice squad. I believe he will be activated game time, if I'm not mistaken, to be our fullback. And, it needs to come back to the running game and Darren Waller for where this offense is running through, because just the way that, the wheels can get off the ground in this game, we're going to have to establish some kind of dominance up front. And the Bengals defense, it's average. Now, with the way that Kansas City kind of came in and we made them look like superstars at every position, can't really do anything about it. You got to just kind of take your lumps, go back to the tape, and just kind of realize, hey, it is what it is, and we just got to keep moving on. So what I'm looking for specifically in this game, because the Bengals do have a good defense, as far as some, select players at, the linebacking core that they have up front. And then on the back end, they're relatively young. So they don't have any superstars, but, they are going to have their hands full as far as, with Deshaun Jackson, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow. And I think Brian Edwards continues to come into his own in this game. Now, the big thing I'm looking for in this game is Derek Carr. Derek Carr has been showing us anyways, and I don't care what kind of heat I get for this, but he's been showing us that the moment gets big for him sometimes, too big for him. And when the game is on the line and things matter and people need to make a play and he needs to put people in position to make a play, he crumbles. And that's just kind of the fact of the matter. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, I think Marcus Mariota definitely needs to get implemented into this scheme a little bit more. And the thing is with the way Derek Carr's inconsistency has shown up the last 2 weeks, something heavily needs to be done about that. Now, with the run game being something that has been fairly good outside of last week, because Derek Carr was like our lead rusher last week, which that can never be a good thing when that happens. Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs need to take things over. And I think we're going to start to see a little bit more Kenyon Drake carry the load more, and Josh Jacobs kind of come in on maybe some of those shorter yardage downs, just because, with Kenyon Drake, he's actually had a lot of moments this year where he's shown promise that he can carry the load on first down, second down, and then third down. Josh Jacobs come in. So we may see a switch up in that regard, but it all starts with Derek Carr. Derek Carr needs to start off fast. He needs to get his completions and get a rhythm going. Now, with Deshaun Jackson being implemented more, now that there's been a little bit more rhythm, I feel like we are going to take a couple more deep pass opportunities, and things are going to kind of start to open up a little bit more now that Deshaun Jackson is going to be a little bit more familiar with our scheme, because coming in 1 week and then the pass that he caught and then spinning around and then getting it punched out and just kind of not making a heads up play on it, that really did hurt us in the momentum in Kansas City Chiefs game. But with this game, it means a lot. There's a lot riding on it. And with Derek Carr, he has to do something to stamp himself as trending in the right direction, because we've seen this before and we almost can predict what's going to happen, but we don't want to necessarily do that because of what he showed in the beginning of his potential and his capabilities. But 2019 gives me some flashbacks. I'm not going to lie. Derek Carr was throwing up the ball in that Chiefs game like he was, a first-year quarterback. That's not what 8-year veterans do. I don't care how many coaches you have. I don't care how many playbooks you have. I don't care what happens, but he needs to start dealing with the pressure and settling in, because there's always going to be pressure in the NFL. So for you to think that it's going to be a perfect situation on a candlelit night and the weather's going to be just right, you're in the wrong sport, man. You're in the wrong sport, because it's never going to be like that. So this is Derek Carr's time to put up or shut up. Show us that you're better than what you have the last 2 years at this point of the season, because you've let us down before. You've collapsed and choked. And let's see what the fuck you're made out of. I mean, at the end of the day, that's just what it comes down to. And I don't care if I get, shit talked to me. I don't care if anyone comes down on me for this video. I'm fed up at this point. I'm fed up because we do have a better team. He was right in his press conference when he said that. We have a better team, so that means he needs to play better. Now, yeah, he's not playing defense, and the last outing was maybe defense's worst outing of the year. But if you're given the ball and an opportunity to go down and score, and you need to have better acknowledgement of the defense and look for the open receivers, because throwing it downfield and hucking it up for a hope and a prayer, that's not going to work. And if you don't think Cincinnati's not going to come out hungry, you're sadly mistaken, because they're definitely winning or they're definitely playing to win. They want to win, and they're coming off, a couple games skid themselves. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think they're coming off like a 2 or 3 game skid themselves. So it starts and finishes with Derek Carr. I'll talk about the defense momentarily, but what I'm looking for is the run game to get established. I'm looking forward to smarter play on the offensive line, and these penalties. I'm sorry to say, and I don't mean to put it back on Derek Carr, but that's Derek Carr's job to get his linemen in line. Make sure that they know the snap count. Make sure that they know the play. Stop checking the play so many times. Stop switching it at the line of scrimmage because you're getting, happy feet because they're, showing that they're going to blitz, but they don't actually end up blitzing and they drop into coverage, because that does throw off the rhythm of your guys. And we need better leadership from Derek Carr. I'm going to say it again. We need better leadership from Derek Carr to get those offensive guys in line, because they look to him. And if he's not having a good game, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day. Now, I know you guys are probably like, Nazo, like, all you doing is talking shit about Derek Carr. He's done so good in the beginning. We're 5-4, yada, yada. That's fine. We should be 6-3 right now. Let's be honest, okay? We need better command out of Derek Carr, and I'm calling on him this game. I'm calling on him to get his troops in line. I'm calling on him to get his offensive line disciplined and to speak to them and let them know that there can't be foolish penalties, because a lot of it has to do with discipline, knowing snap counts, and, jumping off sides and stuff like that. That's Derek Carr's job, to help them clean it up and let them know the snap count. So I'm looking to him specifically this game, and I'm looking to the running game to be established early and often. What that will do for our offense against this Bengals defense is it's going to open things up, and it's going to allow Derek Carr to play his game. When you look at what Derek Carr has been successful with this year, he's passed a lot in the games that he's had a lot of success in, and the runs have been methodically placed. You don't have to run a lot. You have to know what plays to call when the opportunity arises, because I don't want you to run the ball on 1st and 2nd down and have a 3rd and 6 or a 3rd and 5 every time. Throw the damn ball, get it to 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1, run the ball. There's your run. Go back to the pass and take command of your offense. This is Derek Carr's offense. He needs to start running it like so. And he needs to run it like he wants to make it to the playoffs, because, again, it's looking a very 2019-ish in here, and it really pisses me off that I'm saying it, because, I've been riding with Derek Carr, and I've been on his side, and I've been trying to tell people, give him a shot. He's not collapsing, and, the time is now. So what I'm expecting is for him to go to Darren Waller. He needs to throw to his best player on the field. Darren Waller is the best player on the field, hands down. You need to find a way to implement him into the offense. I don't care if he's getting double teamed. You motion him over. You do anything you can to make sure that he's open. I don't care if he's catching 4 and 5 yard passes and running it for 2 or 3 extra yards, because that's leaving us at 2nd and 2 or 2nd and 3. That's fine. Okay. Secondly, thirdly, because, we have to establish the run game. That's one of the most important things. And I think Kenyon Drake is the one to help us out with that. And Josh Jacobs helped cleaning up those short yardage positions, because those outside runs Drake can do. I don't think Josh Jacobs is a north and south runner. He's not going to be burning anyone to the outside. It's just not something that I've seen, and he's not known for it. So first, establish the run. Second, have Darren Waller establish his dominance within that receiving core and his targets. And then that's when you start going to Deshaun Jackson and Hunter Renfrow, okay? Because Hunter Renfrow has proven night in and night out that he is the best receiver in that wide receiving core, and he will make the plays. He's going to get open. He has some crazy double, triple moves. He's really creative with his route running. And he can tear up the Bengals because I don't think anyone's going to have an answer for someone like Hunter Renfrow. And that's when you can then go and throw Deshaun Jackson in the mix and start with that deep ball. Start looking for him down deep because he still has speed. We've seen that last game, and it's something that's going to have to come to life in order for the success of the Las Vegas Raiders in this matchup with the Cincinnati Bengals. And from what we saw with Bryan Edwards, he's very capable of, getting a touchdown at least 80, 90 yards. But the thing is it has to be complementary football. That's the one thing that we have gone away from, and we haven't focused on establishing our dominance there. And with play action and screen passes, those are the things that were working for us. We need to get back to those things. And it falls on Greg Olsen as well, okay? Greg Olsen, we're going to need you in this one against the Bengals to start dialing up some screenplays. Dial up some screenplays to Josh Jacobs, run the ball with Kenyon Drake, get some play action in there to hit Deshaun Jackson deep, and get it done. Let Derek Carr play his football with confidence, but he has to prove to us that he's the man in Las Vegas. Because I'll tell you this, we lose this game, 2019 is no longer going to look like a reflection. It's going to be now it's back. Like it's going to be back. Like we're going to be looking at it again, just like last year. Not last year, but 2019. So sorry, the COVID's still fucking with my brain. So my apologies, but these are the things that Derek Carr needs to do, and he needs to lead this offense. I'm sorry I'm just so blatant and blunt and just forward with this. And I know this isn't usually how my podcasts go, but I mean, man, I'm just a little fed up just with the performance of this team and just the blown opportunities. Like, you can't beat the Giants, whatever. It's an off day. We understand you guys been going through a lot, but then the Chiefs, to get embarrassed at your home like that and have them, again, mic'd up talking about Derek Carr being scared and just throwing the ball up for hopes and dreams. Come on, man. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me again, shame on you. So, or however that goes. I think it's the other way around. But I mean, you get the drift. It's just one of those things where it's like, listen, we've seen this song and dance before. We know the tune. We need this to start taking some positive direction here. And the thing is it's just, it can't happen moving forward. All right. So at the end of the day, establish the run. Okay. Darren Waller is your go-to guy. Keep utilizing those screen passes. Keep utilizing play action. Hunter Renfrow should be heavily involved in the game and get your deep threat over the top to Deshaun Jackson and sprinkle in Bryan Edwards. Now, I know for this one specifically, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of going backwards here because I just was going over the offense. It looks like for this one with the injury report, Brandon Faison was limited on Friday. He's questionable. Alec Ingold is now out for the season. He had a torn ACL. Josh Jacobs was limited. His game status shouldn't be in question. I mean, we pretty much know that he's going to be playing. We got Nick Kwiatkowski on defense, who's out again. Yannick Ngakoue is a full participant. He's good. Jalen Richard, Keyshawn Nixon is going to be out. Jalen Richard is questionable. He had that rib injury. That kind of did take us out a little bit. And I feel like that's something that, that could play a role depending upon what his limitations are, because he is a great pass blocker. And Amik Robertson was a full participant on Friday, and so was Dylan Stoner. And that's for the Raiders. Now, for the Bengals, it looks like Tyler Shelvin is questionable game status. Trey Hopkins is good to go. Auden Tate is going to be questionable, the wide receiver, and then Marcus Bailey, their linebacker, is going to be good to go. But, as far as the offense is concerned for the Raiders, sorry I did that backwards, guys, again. The offense should be good to go. And I just want to talk about Tyron Williams, the new cat who we did pick up. And he is on the practice squad. He played for the Los Angeles Chargers. And the dude's got speed. So I'm hoping that we kind of ramp him up relatively quick and get him going just so we can get him implemented into this offense and see what kind of other weapons we can start using. Zay Jones hasn't really impressed me. He's had literally one catch, I think, in like the last, 7 games. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. The offense, again, my predictions, I do think Kenyon Drake is going to have a rushing touchdown. I believe Darren Waller will have one touchdown this game along with Deshaun Jackson. And, if everything goes well, Josh Jacobs has a touchdown. So, those are my predictions for this game. I'm really going out on a limb here because I want to say that most of those, I'm not going to say I'm 100% on all those, but that's what my predictions are. I have Kenyon Drake with a rushing touchdown, Kenyon Drake with a rushing touchdown, Josh Jacobs with a passing touchdown, and I have Darren Waller with a pass catching touchdown, and then Deshaun Jackson gets in the end zone this game. And I think that's on a deep route. So let's see. Let's see what Derek Carr's got this game. Let's see if he could bounce back, if he could be the leader that he claims to be. I know he keeps saying, oh, this is a different team. Show us it's a different team by utilizing them better. Because now that you have better players around you, now is your time to put up. Because, listen, Raider Nation, there's a lot of division between just one player, Derek Carr. This isn't Carr Nation. This is a Raider Nation. So we want to win. We're tired of losing. Well, we don't want to hear this bullshit of, this team looks different because 2019 and 2020, it happened to us, and we're tired of it. So let me switch over to the other side here, to the defensive side. Now, Ron Miles isn't going to be available for this game because of COVID restrictions, and it looks like his assistant is going to be the one who takes over for him. So as far as that's concerned, let me just see what the hell his name is, because I definitely forgot. Let's see here. Yeah, so it looks like Addison Lynch will assume his duties on game day, who's the assistant defensive backs coach. And, Gus Bradley kind of said, this Chiefs game was going to tell us where we are on the defensive side of the ball. Big disappointment from Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue. I know Max, was getting held and he was getting tackled and everything like that. When you're at the position that Max Crosby is, as far as his stature in the NFL with his tenure, you're not going to get those calls. So you need to find ways around that. And you need to find ways that you are able to still play your game, because he's a great talent. But the thing is pressures are great. But if you're not closing, look what happens. Quarterbacks in the NFL are going to be okay with getting pressured and still getting the ball out, still scoring, still finding men downfield. And our secondary was getting torched. Facing and Abram just kind of got, a fucking, train ran on them as far as, how much that this, Kansas City offense just kind of went off on us. And it was tough to watch, man. It really was. And I know with this defense, there's three players that I'm really looking at this game that can really hurt us that play for the Bengals. And that's Joe Mixon, because our run defense has not been great. And Mixon has owned us in the past, he is one of the best running backs, 425-year-old averaging over 4 yards per carry, 8 yards per catch, and 9 total touchdowns. He can do it all. He could pass catch out of the backfield, and he can run very, very well. So let's not forget that Joe Mixon is going to be just as deadly on this offense towards our defense, because our running defense, it needs to step up. CJ Uzoma, the tight end, that's another guy. We have tough times with tight ends. We're 31st in tight end points allowed, barely ahead of the Eagles and slightly behind the Texans. And, you know, with CJ Uzoma, sorry, I just want to make sure I say his name somewhat right. He's the Bengals' biggest receiver. I mean, he's 6'6", and he's taller than Travis Kelce, and he's 260 pounds. So Joe Burrow, he's going to find him. And there's another guy that Joe Burrow has on track for Rookie of the Year, and that's Jamar Chase. And, you know, these guys are not going to play us easily, and this defense needs to show up. And if there's one unit that I feel can really come to play, it's going to be the defense. And, you know, with this offensive line of the Cincinnati Bengals, I feel like the defensive line of the Las Vegas Raiders can really do their thing and get to Joe Burrow. Especially he is a younger quarterback, so he still is establishing his legs under him. He is coming back from that injury from last year, but you know, you can see that he's not 100% himself yet in that pocket and behind the line. He's a great quarterback, though. Don't get it twisted now. It's going to be Jamar Chase and Joey B that are going to be, you know, connecting and linking up in this game. And, you know, our secondary, they need to show up to play. They need to show up to play. And Faison needs to be ready to go. You know, we are still missing Trayvon Mullen, which, you know, it does suck because we definitely miss his presence back there. And Trayvon Merrick has been the brightest spot in that secondary. Jonathan Abram, after last game, he got lit up like a Christmas tree. I mean, I don't even know what to say because that's my guy, and he's just been getting his ass whipped. Like, let's just call it what it is. So the secondary really does need to step up. Amik Robertson will probably get in this game. Desmond Trufant probably will take some snaps as well. And then, you know, as far as the linebacking core, I mean, that being down Kwiatkowski, that does play, you know, a role in just the effectiveness of the linebacking core, especially for the rotation, because I know Patrick Onwuzar, he did get activated in this one, or he's on the active roster. And then, you know, you got KJ Wright and Denzel Perryman, who's, you know, been leading the charge. Denzel Perryman's been one of the brightest spots, you know, in our lineup. And it's going to be a test. It's going to be a test for the secondary. You know, with the big receivers at tight end and Jamar Chase with his ability, and you know, the linebacking core is going to get tested as well. You know, with the run defense up front, Quentin Jefferson and Jonathan Hankins, we're going to need their best games, and Solomon Thomas and Damian Square, we're going to need to start, you know, really get on their horse and really get penetration. And that's something that we've had a hard time doing. And, you know, with Gus Bradley, he kind of said it, you know, last game was a test on seeing where we're at. We fell short. We fell real short of where we thought we were defensively. But I will say this is the first really bad game of the defense, and I don't think that's going to replicate this game, because that's the one unit that I do feel is going to be better. Let me just see real quick here. I just want to see real quick what the Las Vegas Raiders starting lineup is looking like defensively right now, going into this game. Just because as far as the defense is concerned, let's see here. So on defense right now, let's see. So Max Quinton, Hankins, Ngakoue, Littleton, Perryman, and Wright. And Nate Hobbs got lit up too last game. So that was his worst outing. I'm really looking for Casey Hayward and Nate Hobbs to have a bounce back game in this one. I think Casey Hayward still had a good game, but there was a little bit of exposure, and with Roderick Teamer just coming back, being made available from the IR, I think we're going to start to see him as the weeks kind of progress. Trayvon Mullen is going to come back from IR soon. And I really want to see Malcolm Kuntz, man. I haven't seen him at all. Carl Nassib has actually done a great job when he's come in the game. And I really think that we need to start running these looks where Yannick and Max are on one side and then Nassib comes in on the opposite end. And then you have either Jefferson and Hankins in the middle and almost run like a 5-2. Because the thing is you can't have Nassib on the sidelines when you're having your defensive end struggles, like last game with Yannick and Max, because if we can get Yannick and Max on one side and you have Nassib on the other side, you're going to get to the quarterback, okay? And it does leave you a little bit light on the linebacking core, but that's when you could have your, bigger defensive backs in there just in case to play that run pass option, because at the end of the day, we have the personnel. We have the personnel, and if it gives us a little booster just for getting that pass rush a little bit more effective, I think that's something that Gus Bradley may need to start doing, because hey, listen, he doesn't blitz. We did blitz a little bit last game, which was a little surprising, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think Tyree Gillespie is missed out there on special teams, especially maybe some rotation play that he could potentially get if he does come back, just because he wasn't one of the ones that was expected past the 3 weeks, just like Darius Philon as well. But I mean, you have Kwiatkowski out. We need to get Malcolm Kuntz in there, Divine Diablo in there. We need to start playing a lot of these younger guys and just see who it is who's going to step up, because we've been falling short. The defense, this is a rotational based defense. So I think Gus Bradley, even though I know it's the second half of the season, experimenting a little bit wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, especially with how the performance has been. Our pass rush, I think you'll see that come back this week. I'm not saying that the Bengals O-line is necessarily the best, but at the end of the day, Yannick Ngakoue and Max Crosby, man, they're some bad dudes. And I do have confidence in them. I'm looking for Nate Hobbs and Jonathan Abram to have big bounce back games, because they did get owned last game. And I know Abram gets a lot of flack. He's not very good in coverage. And I think his poor pursuits and his poor body positioning really does put him in those plays where it's just like, bro, he got mossed by a running back, and man, I just really am expecting bigger things out of the defense more so than the offense this game. I know the offensive struggles with Henry Ruggs being absent and, no longer being on the team. I think Deshaun Jackson picks that slack up from week over week. But primarily with this week, I think we have a gut check with our defense on how good the Cincinnati Bengals are. And I think they step up. I think you see a little bit better of a run defense. And in addition to that, I also think that, our front four plays better. And I'm thinking that Trayvon Merritt gets a pick this week. And I'm thinking we have a fumble up front with Joe Mixon. I think Quentin Jefferson or Solomon Thomas, I'd say one or the other, is going to get a punch out this week on Joe Mixon. And I think that really seals the deal for the Raiders to come out victorious in this one. And again, 28-25, that's my call. That's my call for this game. I know I really didn't go into detail just because I'm doing this by myself, coming off of COVID. So I appreciate you guys spending time with me. I'm just going to go to just my keys to victory here, just for this game and just kind of everything that I wanted to recap. So on the offense, we're talking about establishing the run and opening up that offense with Darren Waller. I think the big thing is going to be moving Darren Waller around, not only lining him up at tight end, but also at the wide receiver position, because I feel like that is going to help open up this offense. And, once Deshaun Jackson kind of gets a little bit more comfortable being on more series in this game plan, that'll open up the deep pass and it'll help bring this offense together. Okay. On defense, we really need to key in on the tight end position and get that pass rush up front going. It needs to be the Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue show. I'm going to give them both 1 sack for this game, 1 sack each. And we're going to have a fumble by Quentin Jefferson or Solomon Thomas, one or the other. I don't know which one. I can't really choose. And I think Trayvon Merrick gets a pick in this game from Joe Burrow going deep, trying to get Jamar Chase. So those are just my predictions as far as that's concerned. But with the keys to victory, I wanted to just go back because I kind of fumbled that a little bit. Sorry, my brain's a little all over the place with this COVID brain. Still recovering. Again, Raidernation, I appreciate your patience with me here. Opening up that run game and using Darren Waller in multiple positions. That's going to be the key on offense. On defense, looking for turnovers with pressure up front and getting those turnovers, keying in on that tight end position especially. And the third key to victory is going to be ball positioning on special teams when we do have to punt the ball. I think special teams and making sure that we're pinning them back deep in their end zone, making them have to go the full length of the field, that's going to be something really big that Rich Bisaccia needs to key in on this week, because it's something that we haven't executed the best in weeks past, and it's something that really helps with not only our defense, but also our offense, just kind of getting those guys pumped up, just knowing like, hey, we're not going to make them have anything easy or in their favor. We're going to make this tough on them. So that's just kind of my keys to victory right there. And I think as long as we could do that, we could get away with this victory and go into Dallas on that short week and really have something that's special come about. If we have that momentum, I think it's something we can definitely carry over to the following game with the Cowboys. But this is a must win. So I'm repeating, this is a must win. Derek Carr needs to go ahead and get his act together in this game, and he needs to bring it. He needs to bring it. There's no excuses. He has plenty of guys around him. The playmakers are there. He needs to lead by example, and he needs to keep this offense in check and in discipline, because it really shows your leadership when certain games come down on the schedule and you have to win and you have to play your best football, especially coming off a 2-game skid. I'm looking at Derek Carr in this game. So just want to say thanks again, guys, for bearing with me. Sorry again for missing, the previous week's episode just due to COVID. Still trying to get my thoughts and everything back. I've been working through this, at my job, my day job. And I just want to say I love you all, Raider Nation. Thanks again for tuning in to the Rican Brothers Raider Nation podcast. Much love to everyone. God bless. And let's go Raiders. All right. Thanks again for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And you guys have a great rest of your night.